Thank you very much, Mr. Chancellor. My name is Martha Piper, and I am the Interim President and Vice Chancellor of the University of British Columbia. Every year at Congregation, UBC has the honor of bestowing honorary degrees upon individuals who, in the opinion of the university community, have fit the criteria of excellence and eminence in their chosen field. Rochelle Thibeault is one of those individuals, and I invite her now to step forward to receive her honorary degree. Mr. Chancellor, Rochelle Thibeault is a key influencer of global health and human rights policy and has made extraordinary contributions to improving the lives of those in marginalized and inhumane circumstances. As an occupational therapist, professor, community developer, and activist for health and social justice, she has worked for over 3 decades with population groups that face overwhelming stigma, including victims of war in Sierra Leone, persons with AIDS in Zambia and leprosy in Ethiopia, and with physical disabilities in Nicaragua. In pursuit of a greater goal to advance civil society, her approach goes beyond strict rehabilitation measures and builds on the principles of sustainable livelihoods, service integration, engagement in meaningful occupations, and social inclusion. Dr. Thibeault has effectively applied these principles through community reintegration programs and small business development using microcredit initiatives, all widely applauded by notable organizations that include the Canadian International Development Agency, the World Health Organization, the World Bank, and the U.S. State Department. In 2008, she was named an official member of the United Nations International Association of Millennium Development Goals Trainers, an organization comprised of renowned experts specializing in the important work of the UN Millennium Project. Closer to home, she has assisted marginalized groups in Canada, including developing a program for soldiers suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder and another for Aboriginal health and elder care in Arctic communities. Dr. Thibeault is also an academic leader in the occupational therapy and occupational science disciplines as a professor in the School of Rehabilitation Sciences at the University of Ottawa. In 2003, she received the Award for Excellence in Teaching from the University of Ottawa, and in 2007, she was awarded the National Capital Award for Excellence in Teaching by the Ottawa Centre for Research and Innovation. Her multifaceted humanitarian contributions were nationally recognized with her appointment in 2012 as an Officer of the Order of Canada. Mr. Chancellor, in recognition of her accomplishments as a clinician, community builder, and educator, I ask you to confer the degree Doctor of Science honoris causa upon Rochelle Thibeault.
By the authority of the Senate of this university, I confer upon you, Rachel Thibeault, the title and degree Doctor of Science, honoris causa.
It now gives me a great deal of pleasure to call upon Dr. Thibeault to say a few words.
Mr. Chancellor, Madam President, dignitaries, graduating students, honored guests, it is really my great pleasure and privilege to be with you today to celebrate the achievements of the graduating class and to express my great gratitude at receiving such an honor. I have to tell you that after the initial surprise, my first thought was, how can I give back to UBC? What could I give to the graduating class? After some pondering, two things came to mind. And this morning I would like to give you a story and some reflections on the fine art of making decisions. I thought that at this stage in life it might be relevant information for you. The story comes from my work as an occupational therapist with vulnerable communities the world over. Several years ago, I was working in Lusaka, Zambia, and I was asked to do a home visit. Apparently, a lady was in need of a seating assessment. So I make my way to her home, and there I find a woman in her 70s slumped into an old tire on a cement slab, obviously in severe discomfort. So obviously the first thing we do is to take care of the physical issues, but I was curious about her story. I wanted to know what had happened to her. And so she told me, she said, well, I married young. Her name was Euphemia. I married young. I had 9 children. Eventually, my 9 children married. And she said, at 68, I found myself with my 9 children and their 9 spouses dead from AIDS, alone to raise 18 orphans. She said, at 70, I was hit by a truck and became paraplegic. When I met her, she had been living in the tire for nearly 2 years. But what struck me about Euphemia was that she gave me the warmest, the most welcoming way, of granting me when I met her. And I was quite curious to see how she could maintain such a positive spirit. And not only was she radiating warmth and deep humanity, from her station in life, every day she still managed to keep the children safe, to feed them, to clothe them, to send them to school. And I was just astounded at her level of resilience. Over the course of my career, I've met dozens of people like Euphemia, and ultimately they piqued my curiosity so much that I decided to make psychological resilience one of my fields of study. And a feature that they have and that I really wanted to share with you is that almost always they seem to make the right decisions. And so I wanted to know, how they process the information, how they get to those good decisions. As it turns out, they all ask themselves the same 4 key questions with varying words, but always the same 4 key concepts. Before making any important decision, the first question they ask themselves is, will my choice allow me to remain true to myself? They know intuitively that they have to protect their integrity, their ideals, and their moral values. They will never jeopardize them. Their second question is, will my choice allow me to grow? Again, they know intuitively that they cannot remain inactive, that it's only through challenging themselves that ultimately they will develop their full potential. Their third question is, will my choice allow me to give back? Again, they're keenly aware that choosing to stay in one's narcissistic, self-centered bubble is actually spelling the death of the soul. Highly resilient people are open to the world, eager to take it in, but just as eager to give back to the world. And their fourth question is, will my choice allow me to experience pleasure and joy? They really don't see seeking challenges and experiencing joy as being mutually exclusive. So I hope these 4 questions help you guide some of your choices. But we have to be honest. I mean, even if we make the best possible choices, there will always be some rough patches in life. And when we meet with rough patches, usually one of the questions, a dark question that arises is, what is it all about? And in my view, no one else has answered that question as well as Dr. Rachel Naomi Remen. She's a professor in the Faculty of Medicine at the University of California in San Francisco. And she's written books on what it means to be a healthcare professional. And in one of her books, she answers that question, what is it all about? And what she says is that, well, in the end, when all is said and done, it is all about growing in wisdom and learning to love better. My hope for you is that you will make her words yours in your career, because I can tell you these words really make a difference. And so, on that note, I wish you a wise and loving journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Thibeault, for those incredible words, and I'm jotting down the 4 questions because I think I need them right now. But more important, I think your example to our students and to our graduates, to our faculty, to our community as your role model as a global citizen really is one that we will take and embrace forever. So thank you for accepting our degree and becoming a part of the UBC family.